Y'all like, damn, Wiley, you gonna be on time today? What's the time? I am on time. Love for you guys. We got an amazing show today. So make sure you hit that like button, hit the subscribe button, and hit a super chat. We chop it up right then. I stop what I'm doing because I'm about to ruin. We're going to get into it today. We got Wilbon, who's admitting that it's okay to question and be skeptical of ESPN and the NFL's relationship. We saw that partnership. They said, yeah, it's a real thing. We could trip on that. We got Kyle Shanahan, who gives a press conference. We're going to go all into that. See how he looking, how he's sounding, what's real, what's fake. Stephen A. Smith and Wilbon clash over his comments about Stephen A. Smith is not a journalist anymore. He's a part of the show. So we're going to go deep into that. They also asked him who's the face of ESPN. Interesting answer from Mike Wilbon. Drew Brees tells us the moment that he needed to make sure he became a Hall of Famer. Without that moment, he wasn't going to be one. Real spit. And then Royce White is dead serious about going into WNBA. I mean, dead serious. Like, they gonna have a problem. Like, when's the draft next year for the WNBA? I don't know, April 19th or something, whatever the hell. If they don't call his name, lawsuits will be flying. I'm just telling you that right now. So we're gonna get into all that and more. Love to you guys. How y'all feeling? How am I feeling? I'm doing great. You see what I'm saying? Looking real West Sea for Leah near. Love to you guys, man. BPS. What the hell is BPS? Anything else going on in this world? I don't know. It's a gang of stuff, man. Gang of stuff going on. So many topics today. I love it. Football about to start, so we got that cracking. August 20th, Chargers play at home. Can't wait for that, so I could be in the building, see that, all the things and above. All right, let's get into the show. Damn it, Wiley, nobody care about all that. All right, let's do the show. We're going to do the show. First, we're going to start off with Wilbon. We always pay off the headline. That's what we do now. We have come to that decision. It wasn't always that way. I used to say the headline to the end, and then people was like, dog, do you know that these kids and millennials and the way we act now, we ain't waiting. We ain't waiting, dog. We ain't skipping around either. So you better get it right. Let's get it into it. Okay. So here we go. Wilbon. This is Wilbon asked about fans and their skepticism, ESPN and relationship with the NFL. Let's talk it.
Should fans be able to trust ESPN's reporting on the NFL, considering the NFL now owns a stake in ESPN?
Great question.
Well, that's I got to put my journalist hat on again. I'll put it on because my answer to that philosophically is trust. I wouldn't go as far as can't not trust. View skeptically, okay.
Yeah.
But because I know the people reporting on the NFL for years, I know the people reporting on the NFL, I know how good they are. I know how thorough they are. They cover that as thoroughly as, we've ever covered anything. They're not on the air maybe for very long, but no matter where you go, and I mean historically, and people who may not be on the air recently, but I worked side by side with other people who left the newspaper industry, and I know how thorough. Again, I know how good Adam Schefter is. Do I trust Adam Schefter? You damn right I do.
Okay, I was waiting for a name. God dang. All right, we got a couple minutes into it, and he finally gave us a name. Good, Adam Schefter. I'm not here to attack. I have seen people before, as all of us, point out imperfections in the reporting with Adam Schefter. I do know that there's a hierarchy with Adam Schefter. I think it's well-deserved, but also something that he requires. As you notice now, everybody there is senior NFL insider or junior, which is newer in terms of title. And I think that's because Adam is like, he put in his last deal because he just signed a new deal. He must have put in his last deal like, look, man, not to muddy these waters, I am not the same as them. Like, you got a bunch of people here. We got these new hires. We got Rapoport coming on. Like, let's just separate church and state. Keep me ranked like I am. Check my stripes. So I can see Adam Schefter kind of making that play because I see it from the outside now. But other than that, the NFL is the most important thing to ESPN in terms of it having the partnership, it having the games, having the Super Bowl this year. So, yeah, everything he's saying tracks. You got to take care of football. That's the cash cow in all media when you're talking about sports.
Would I encourage other people to trust him? You're damn right I would. So does that mean that Adam's credibility is automatically extended to everything the network does? I don't know. I think that
You don't know.
is philosophically what you're asking, and it's a fair question. Here's the other question. I'll add one. I'd make the.
We ain't gonna done with that question. Hold on, dog. I mean, Wilbon's a pro and he's a G, but at the same time, he didn't answer that question. Like, he gave us more than I thought in the sense of skeptical. You can show some skepticism. We even use that word. That's a choice word. But come on, dog. Like, they got a relationship with him. So imagine something happens in the NFL. Like, we ain't even got to imagine no more. Let me stop playing. Kyle Shanahan happens. We got a coach in a car crash and local police are involved. The team is involved. The NFL is on notice, but the media doesn't know. And the NFL has a partnership with the biggest sports media brand in the world. It's a bad time to answer this question, ain't it? It's like, what are we doing here? Like, we already know. You know that came across the desk of somebody of high-level executive status in the NFL, and they were just like, yeah, what's that?
The boss is angry with this. Do you want to trust an entity that partners with gambling houses? What is the NFL? What happens when you walk in a baseball locker room? For people who don't know, baseball clubhouse, no gambling allowed. What do you think got Pete Rose in trouble? What do you think got the 1919 White Sox banned?
Yeah,
no gambling allowed. And so, yeah, ESPN and Fox and all the CBS, NBC, they do this. We know why they do it, but we're going to blame anybody else that gets involved with this, but not us. No, we make too much money from it.
Yeah.
How does that affect how you now? I think it's an awfully cynical viewer, and I don't think there are that many viewers that examine it that closely. Brandon, I don't.
Yeah.
I do because I grew up in it. You do. You do this for a living. We look critically at media. But again, I trust the people. We got an army of people out there covering the NFL. I know a lot of them. I knew a lot of them before they ever worked for ESPN.
Yeah.
And they bring that credibility every day.
Brandon trying to get a question in, and also Brandon like, man, we ain't going nowhere. This ball ain't moving up the field. We on our 5th down, and we ain't even get a first down, and this ball's still within them 10 yards. Like, this is the tough part when you are asked to actually scrutinize yourself, your own, where you work. Wilbon, as gangster as he is, and as real as he is, got a question where he knows, hey, man, I know how my bread is buttered. I ain't crazy. And you would be crazy to answer this like I would answer this right now, because we got an example in the last month that shows the conflict of interest. So what's going to happen to the audience is simple. It's the same thing that happens all the time. They lose faith in you. They lose faith in your integrity. They lose faith in you in terms of having character as an entity, whatever the hell that could mean. People tired of like, oh, this is some BS. But until it affects the fortune, ain't nothing going to change. ESPN is like, dog, what are you talking about? There's always plausible deniability. Like, what do you mean? Throwing rocks and hiding your hands. What do you mean? We didn't cover up that story. What do you mean, Rossini and Vrabel? We talked about it. You know, they wait for it to die down, or they don't talk about it at all. They have their own editorial election. They just say, we want to talk about this. We don't want to talk about this. And until it affects the pockets, who cares? Frankly, because you don't care either until you stop watching. And who wants to stop watching ESPN? I don't. I don't watch the shows and have the volume up and I'm mesmerized. I'm not watching Sports Center at 11 o'clock like I used to. But at the same time, I don't want ESPN to go away. I want all them cats to have their gigs. I want all them cats to be doing their commercials for the real live games on the weekend. I need that. I like that. Shoot, I love their content in terms of when they do the clips. But we ain't going to go so far as we want to affect the pockets because we still want them to roll. But we do want to change direction, obviously. But they're not. The money is said, go this way. And it's not towards the truth.
But, and I mean people who are shocked. If you send Stephen A. right now to the Eagles camp and told him to be there for a week, would I trust his coverage? Damn right I would, because I know he would instantly revert to that dude who was great at that. We got an army of those people. But that doesn't mean the question you're asking is not legit.
Yeah, and I think the answer right now is yes, you can trust it because, like you said, you could trust those people. You can trust Don Van Natta that he is going to do a great job of covering the NFL.
Yeah.
I think the question is what happens is as we get further into this relationship and those reporters start to get replaced, who are they replaced with?
Good point.
Yeah. I mean, yes. And what training are we talking about? I luckily I'm a trustee of a university and its journalism school, Medill, my alma mater, or I know the preparation is as thorough as it was when I was there.
Yeah.
I think it's more thorough. I think it's harder to get through it. I know because I'm a board member at Medill as well, and
right there. Let's say this real quick because it's almost done. We're dancing around really the answer to this question. It's not about do you trust the person. The person's going to be the person. If they got integrity, they got integrity. But what's going to change are the incentives, not the integrity of the person, the incentives. That's what's going to change. We'll talk about it.
Yeah. The same things are requisite. But I don't know, is that customary? How widespread is it anymore? How different is it to perceive that you're going to be a part of media as a part of presenting news, which there's actually a distinction to me.
Blah, blah, blah. All right. Let's get into it. Let's get involved. My life experiences, 51 years young, my life experiences, my media experiences, my athletic experiences tell me that we don't need to question if the people are capable of doing the right things or if the people who are there can and will do the right things. What we need to do is identify the fork in the road that happens in any major takeover partnership is when you have two different cultures coming together. Do they have a mutual understanding of where they're going, or do they conflict, right? And then you have to align the interests. Are the interests averse to each other, or are they going in the same direction? If you think about media, ESPN, entertainment media, more than education media, but both, and then you think about the NFL and they just want to grow their brand, protect the shield, that's already a conflict of interest. We know that because there's going to be stories that are going to, frankly, damage the brand, damage the shield that can be repaired as broken and fractured, repaired even stronger, right? The NFL has come back roaring from Colin Kaepernick, come back roaring from Ray Rice, come back roaring for the mental health issues and concussion issues, come back roaring for the medical issues and all of the prescribed medicine that wasn't labeled. Roaring. Look at all those hiccups. There was times when people were boycotting the NFL. Remember y'all was talking about boycotting the NFL? I was dying laughing. Like, y'all not watching football? Okay. Okay. So my thing is they need to just, frankly, because when you're guilty of something or you're going to be guilty of something, you put on this front, you put on this falseness, right? And you can see through it, but you can't prove it. Who ain't been through that right now? Who hasn't been through that? They just fronting and you just like, I know that's a front. You know that's a front. We got to prove it though. That's what court of law is for. Court of law is not who's right or wrong. Court of law is not even who did it, who didn't do it. It's what you can prove, brother. Can you prove they did it? Oh, well, you just know they did it? That ain't good enough. So we know that ESPN and the NFL is going to have some conflicts. They already had one or two. Rossini, Vrabel, and then Shanahan's car crash. But the thing is how they going to handle that. Right now, they mishandle both of them, but what has changed? You still watching? You still down? That's the point. So I don't like, all my experiences tell me, of course, they're going to have issues that come up. And it won't be that many. It won't be frequent. But when it does come up, I think they're going to side on let's play it safe, then sorry. Let's not expose ourselves. Why are we going to cover ourselves first? Let them cover us. And then when we got an answer to it, we just say, what do you mean? Prove it. Prove we knew. Prove we cared. Prove we wanted to do that story and didn't do it. Prove it. And I know how they send out the memos because I've been there before. When it's been like a statewide memo, like everybody got to be on the page. We are not talking Goodell today. Thank you. because they tell every producer on every show, we are not talking Goodell today. Thank you. Okay, I know the hot button issue is right now. We're not talking that. Move on. And if you like your job, you move on. If you don't like your job, you start hitting it with the Heisman. Wait. I want to talk about this. Talk about it if you want at your own peril. So that's all it is. To me, it ain't that deep. I agree. I'm not that fan that's that skeptical. I do it for content. I do it because that's my sociologist in me, the sociologist in me. Ooh, but I don't do it like when I'm watching TV solo with the kids, with just chilling. I ain't give a damn. Turn the channel if it's that damn deep. You know what I mean? Move on. All right, y'all. Beat it up in the comments. I see the top fans in the building. I see my man Kenton Powers, #1. What? Kenton Powers done made it. I see you, big dog. All them damn super chats you be buying. I love it. Sin here is 2. Trap music is 3. Dan Fan 4. Mike is 5. Good stuff. Sin here is. That's my dog. That's my dog right there. And I love it, man. Y'all keep it going. We got some new gift memberships, and y'all be finding them quick. Y'all be going to get them. All right, let's keep it going. Man, let's go to let's change it up. Shanahan in that press conference. Y'all ready for that yet? No, let's not do that yet. Let's do this. Let's do face of ESPN since we own it. Then we'll shift to Shanahan because we got to come back to Stephen A. and Wilbon really going at it on journalism. So let's not lose the spirit of where we are right now. Get into it. I want to say it, baby. And get involved. Y'all know I'm out here chilling. Out here in these streets. Michael Wilbon clash. Nope. I want this one. No, I don't. Where is it? Wilbon talks about, yeah, the face of ESPN. There you go. And here we go. I gotta play this. Why? Yeah. This is another answer. Wilbon must have just signed another deal because he going there.
Who is the face of ESPN right now?
I don't know this. That there are people. I mean, so 2 of them must be Greeny and Stephen A. Right, and Scott Van Pelt. I would think that
this is a little thing I got, and it's my tick. It's my itch. It's not anybody else's, and I don't even want to say it, but I got to tell y'all because if it's in my brain, I'm gonna show and share with y'all. I do not like listening to people as soon as they say I don't know. Literally, when you start off and say, I don't know, I'm done. I really am done. I'm still in front of you. My eyes are still connected to yours in contact. I see you. I see you, but I don't hear you anymore. So when it started off like that, let's go back to it. I'm just that guy. And it shouldn't be that way, but it is.
Who is the face of ESPN right now?
I don't know this. That there are people. I mean, so 2 of them must be Greeny and Stephen A. Right, and Scott Van Pelt. I would think that it depends on what you follow and what you cover. If you are transactional with the NFL, then it's Shefty, right? If you're that way with baseball and you're a baseball fanatic, even though we do very little baseball now, maybe it's Buster Olney, maybe it's Jeff Passan.
Okay, we are now officially in Kumbaya. We are the world, United Colors of Benetton. He's checking every box. This is not authentic. This is not the real answer from Wilbon. This is not him at Steak 48 or Prime 112. Having a nice juicy ribeye and just maybe a little glass of the finest Sauvignon. I need the real. Like, what are we hearing here? And it's unfair. Like, why do the podcast if he can't answer stuff? Like, this is weird. This is getting weird. Like, I know he signed a new deal. Probably his show ain't going nowhere. It's the best show on ESPN. You look at the numbers. It's the best show on ESPN. So this is not to disparage him. They just put him in an impossible place. Or it's a possible place and he ain't gonna go there. He don't want to test the possible because this ain't no answer, is it?
I think it's what you identify with because we are siloed now in this business. Again, ESPN brought that on itself, where you have this sort of division of labor that I hate. So I'd say that those are the leading candidates for the face. I don't know that there can't be one.
I want to see the numbers of this video. This couldn't have done numbers. Like, this is insane. All right, this is unfair to Wilbon. Look, but as Wilbon, that's why Wilbon is doing Wilbon's PTI still. And people like me is traveling around in studio and doing home studio or doing hotel room stuff. Like, you know what I mean? Like, I get it. He keeps the rewards. He keeps the pot of gold, and I think he should. But at the same time, to keep the connection with your audience, and maybe that's not on his priority list. But I watch PTI because I want to hear their opinions. And I love the structure of the show, and I love their personalities. But don't let me start looking at you like, what? You know what I mean? Like right now, I'm just like, what? What are we doing here? Come on. Either don't answer or answer correctly. Come on.
I'd say that those three, that if you right now, we're talking actively, not a Mount Rushmore, but we're talking actively. It would be in some order, depending on the time of year as well, Greeny, Stephen A, and Scott Van Pelt.
I like it. This is unfair to you too, Brandon Contes. I've seen his face before. I know he does awful announcing, blah, blah, blah. Because he's so junior. He's so junior to Mike Wilbon, he ain't gonna call him out. He's so junior, he's so respectful of Michael Wilbon, he ain't gonna say nothing about this. We literally gonna be, this is the wife in the car knowing that the husband doesn't know where he's going. And she just gotta sit there because she don't like how he responds when she tell him, you're lost. You know you're lost. She's done that 1,000 times and he always get mad or start getting quiet. So she's just sitting there like, all right, well, as long as he knows he's lost. Like Brandon is sitting there like, as long as he knows he's not answering the question, I ain't gonna say nothing.
That's what I'd say.
And what about Pat McAfee?
I don't consume Pat McAfee, so I don't have a sense of it. And it's new. It is not in the world in which I am. And that's just a matter of time. You know, the other guys have been at ESPN a hell of a lot longer than McAfee.
Sure.
Yeah.
Obviously, McAfee has his audience. And I don't look at ratings at all. I don't. Have never done that. That's part of not being a TV guy.
Yeah.
We know where that came from. I was going to say, where did that come from? Well, you know where it came from. It came from the fact that, one, Brandon asked about McAfee because he's like, yo, I think the biggest dog over there right now is McAfee by pay, not ratings, but that too. But by how much they chipping off is McAfee. You ain't going to even mention him. You going to say Buster Oney? He said Buster Oney. Jeff Passan. What? Like, respects baseball, but stop playing. Baseball you can't be the face of ESPN and cover baseball. It's got to be football or maybe basketball. But it got to be football. You got to talk some football. You ain't going to be the face. Let alone, you're not going to mention Pat McAfee. And then he said it's because of time. It's been enough time. You know what I mean? It's been enough time. It didn't take Skip Bayless long to hit when he first got there. It didn't take Stephen A. long to hit. He had a late night talk show, y'all. Quick. This is just like, you know, Brandon is like, you don't want to say McAfee? And it's got to be something deeper than that. Because if you don't consume McAfee, that's one thing. But you know who he is. You know what I mean? I don't know. I didn't consume Wilt Chamberlain. I didn't consume Bill Russell. You know what I mean? I ain't consumed none of them dudes. And they on top 10 lists left and right. And I'm like, yeah, all right. Yeah. They on my top 10 list. Why? I don't know. Because I know. That's the answer. Because I do know. I don't know. No. Because I know they were that good. I didn't have to consume it. Like Jim Brown is on your running back list, all-time list. Gale Sayers. I don't know. I didn't consume them. I just knew it. You don't know that, Wilbon, about McAfee?
So I don't know what McAfee's core audience is and who they are. I know he has one, and it goes on, and it's beyond ESPN. I know that. And maybe.
Okay, I know he's older than even me, but at the same time, let's be real, dog. What core audience? Who cares? Do people watch? We assume they're younger than not, but they watching. Like this, now we starting to dig. Now we taking those subtle digs, those throw your rocks, hide your hands kind of digs. I don't even know who his audience is. I don't know how big he is. I don't even care about ratings. Huh? You didn't do that with anybody else. And now we get to McAfee, and it's like, I can tell you all the things I don't know about him and all the things I don't care about. You sure?
He is too. But for me, it's those three guys at this point in my house with, you know, family members who watch. And my friends are of a certain demographic, a certain age, across racial lines, but still largely of a certain age. And I think with that comes a certain identification for certain shows.
not yet. We're gonna get to you, big dog. Not yet. Blah blah blah. You're next. Let's talk about that because at the end he kind of went there. Basically, he's saying old black men. He's like, I'll be kicking it with old black men. We ain't watching no Pat McAfee. Plus his loyalty to Stephen A. Smith. Let's just cut through it. Like on this show, we just want to be real. Okay. And if they like us after that, good. If they don't like us, oh well. Because now we got a circle of the real ones, right? Count those with you, not against you. I'm not worried about the response of people who even they would, if they were being honest, was like, yeah, I was bullshit. I was lying. I was just trying to get out the interview, dog. I ain't trying to lose my gig over that. But the loyalty to Stephen A. Smith probably played into that. Plus the fact that I hate when people get small when they don't want anything to come from it. But then they get big and flex when they want something from it. That's one thing I'm trying to teach my kids is not to get small in those moments, not to shrimp, you know what I mean? Like just go small. A lot of times people shrimp it. Like they shrimp. They like really curl up. And it's like, Dad, can I have some Cheetos? And I'm like, why do you say it like that? You know what I mean? Like I want you to say, talk in your tone, talk in your voice, stay the same, keep the chest up. Not when you really want something. Come on. And then when you want to flex something, and then you really want something, you get loud and boisterous. Just be you, dog. You could take a yes and you could take a no. Just like in this situation, that answer was, you don't look outside of your scope. You don't know anybody outside of old black males. You don't know any. Yeah, of course you do. You work with an old white male. So that's already outside yours. Anyway, I love Wilbon too much, but I watched this in real time with y'all. So don't think I'm already loaded. I'm watching that in real time. Like he capping. He just capping. He just gave us a bunch of minutes of cap. It's all good. It is. It's all good. All right, let's move on. Let's keep it going on this show because now we got to talk about Kyle Shanahan. Y'all heard him try to jump in already. Shanahan want to talk. Let's listen to him then. You want to talk it? They talk it. Kyle Shanahan gave us a press conference. We're going to take our time to this one. We ain't going to run down and get a little of this. We're going to walk down and get it all. I want to hear this. I want to hear what this man is saying because his crash story has changed again. So let's hear it.
So guys, you guys probably surprised to see me. I was upset with practice. Saw Clay getting ready. Went to talk to him. He's getting ready for this. I told him I'd do it. So go ahead.
How are you doing? What kind of improvements have you noticed?
I'm doing real good. My body feels good. Just got to get this annoying cast off. My ribs feel good, except when I sneeze. And my head feels so much better. Concussions do linger a little bit. The only things I really deal with now is just headaches and fatigue. But that's why I'm not always exactly on the same routine, but pretty damn close.
Stay out there, I think, without shades.
Yeah, they it's not lights that bother me. I had to wear shades to protect scars and stuff, but I got all my stitches out, so I can put tape over it now, and so the tape protects it.
Okay, so we just learned. I mean, first look at him. You can tell he's been through it, and since he's been through it, he's still in recovery mode because you can see under his eyes those bags are big still. He's wearing shades not because he's sensitive to light. He's wearing shades because he look a mess. All right, so that's actually a good thing if you think about it. Whenever you are recovering from something, like first, let's go all the way back. When something occurs, do you care how you look? You get into an accident, you get hurt. First thing that goes is the vanity. We done with that. I don't give a damn how I look. Help me. I am helpless. So when you get back to a phase where you're like, hey, make sure I look good or whatever, you're recovering. That's a good thing. You're starting to plug back into those other things that are a little more on the surface than the core issue of, yo, you're in critical condition, big dog. So that's a positive.
Give a percentage like what you're able to do as opposed to when you're all the way back.
I think about, well, how much percentage you guys give media? How much percentage you give media?
That's a big.
Well, then 0%. As far as like the important stuff, I feel it's about 100%. The biggest thing like I've learned with this stuff is, just when you deal with like fatigue and headaches and stuff is if I kind of do everything, I kind of pay for it in some ways later. That's like the routine I found out. So like I've really tried to eliminate stuff that kind of that I would say just the fake work stuff, like, which is a big important thing, but like talking to the media, you know, having to break down the team every day, doing stuff like that, I've kind of taken it a little bit easier on. Because one thing I haven't missed anything of film. You know, I watch every single play with the coaches after, with the players. I have had a few team meetings. Normally I do it every day, but you know, I do lose a little when I do stuff like that. So I've just picked and choose a little bit more. But as far as the film and everything, being out there for all the practice periods of going against each other, those are, to me, the most important things in my job. And I've been able to do those every day.
He said the fake work. I love him for that. Like, he like, look, part of this job is fluff. And I'm not doing the fluff. I'm not coming to say hi to y'all. And when practice was great, we had an amazing tempo today. Look forward to our next game. He's like, man, I pay for that later if I do it. Interesting about his job security and why he's standing up here right now and how he's in and out the lineup as the head coach. We know that this has been a very uber talented roster for a while now, and no results for it. I'm correct, right? No Super Bowl championships. They went with Kaepernick. They haven't been back since, or did they go and lose again? Did Purdy go in there and lose? Help me out. Beat it up in the comments. But to St. Here's point, that dude, could you see Mike T in San Francisco if no playoffs? You know what? It's interesting. I don't see Mike T in San Francisco. I don't even see Shanahan losing his job. I don't think he loses his job. He's a brand. He's more than a coach. He's a brand. And say what you want. When you don't get the results you want, it's not always time to ring the alarm and get turnover, because whoever you bring back in, whoever you get as a new hire has to be better in your mind. And if you can't convince yourself that he's better, why are you making the move? Think about it. Shanahan offensively, who's better? McVay maybe? Like, who's better? Better? Better's, we're not finding better. We're going to find different. And then you're going to bring in another brand that has his own question marks as well. So I don't see him losing his job, and I also don't see Mike T being the replacement. If anything, it has to be this meteor, this someone on a meteoric rise, relatively young, relatively unknown, didn't see him coming, or maybe they just were under the radar. They could be experienced, not too old, and you're just like, whoa, like almost like a Signetti. If you could find a Signetti at the NFL level, which is tough. Who has Alabama bones and then goes to all these small schools and then gets back up to the level that qualifies Indiana, even though that's still small football, not anymore, national champions. So you're looking for that. If you're going to replace Shanahan, you got to have that kind of confidence in somebody. They got the pedigree, that resume, and they're coming. Other than that, you stick with Shanahan. Ain't nobody better.
Intention to coach the first preseason game next week, or is that still kind of TBD?
Oh, yeah. No, I'm doing the same stuff, guys. I just I try not to come in here every single day, because I feel if I did, that would take – I want to be able to pull off my normal routine, which is watching hours and hours of tape and getting to the walkthrough at night, being able to watch stuff after that. Eventually, I will get there. I would have told you I was there 7 days ago, and they're like, just chill, wait to see how you feel tomorrow. And then I wake up the next morning, I'm like, damn, I'm glad I didn't say that, because sometimes it's a good day and then sometimes the next day is a little bit harder. But as far as the stuff that I think is the most important parts of my job, I've been doing that since day one.
What's your impression, Kyle, 2 weeks in of the team overall from your perspective on the field?
I mean, I like our team. You know, I feel like we came into this camp better on paper than we did last year. Just with a number of rookies we were dependent on last year, got to play more. And I love the guys that we've added this year. By no means do I, see how we are come week one. We still got a lot of work to do. I mean, some days we take a step forward, the next day we take 2 steps back. But that's training camp. And a number of the guys that we really want to push to work with, those guys aren't always out there. So just find thugh those things.
Okay, now, who gonna be gangster enough to drop them and say, look, dog, that car crash, what happened? You know what I mean? Like we unasked how you feeling, how you doing, how the team look. And we care about all those answers, but we care way more about something else. Way more about something else. And for those who think this is a non-story, it could be a non-story to you, but it's not a non-story to the NFL. It's not a non-story to the NFL media. Think about it. If you and your boy both do the same thing, but they talk about you and not your boy, how you feel. And it's happened to all of us before. You've been in class before where your homeboy was cheating, and maybe you took a glimpse. Maybe you were cheating too, whatever it is. But then guess who got called to the principal's office? You did. And you thinking to yourself, oh, I'm not a snitch. Oh, I don't want to tell on everybody, but God dog it wasn't just me. And then they come down heavy on you. So they've come down heavy before on many of people in the NFL circle for different reasons. No two reasons are the same. No two incidents are the same. But they've come down heavy on people before. And now on this one, we try to ignore it. We try to make it go away. We have changed the story, etc. That's a problem. And if you don't think it's a problem, well, maybe you don't know what problems are.
Grinder for so long. Is it weird having a bit of an abbreviated schedule for yourself?
It is. I mean, I was a little insecure about it at first. I mean, I've been a guy like all of us are that we could be deathly sick and we're still insecure to go home. So that's kind of just how we are. So it was hard on me. But when I saw kind of the results of some of it, it became easier. What people tell you is kind of right. I was like, yeah, all right, I'll be able to tough through that. And you kind of can tough through anything, but then when you pay for it the next day and you're not as good as something else, you start to be like, all right, I didn't have to tough through that because it made me worse the next day. So those are things I've had to learn a little bit to be better at.
Practice now from the kind of the deep middle. It's a different perspective. Do you enjoy it? Do you like it? Is there anything that you see in the deep middle next to Lynch that maybe you didn't see when you're up behind the quarterbacks?
A little bit. I mean, sometimes it's harder to find the quarterback. Sometimes it's harder to find the running back. They just pop, but you can see the holes and how everything develops. I mean, that's where I watch it throughout games all the time. Wherever I am on the field, I'm always about 30 yards away from the line of scrimmage so I can see it. And so I got to stand on both sides during games. So I'm used to that.
I love that perspective, and people got to understand. So I bring it home for you. When I was buying season tickets, yes, buying. This is what happens with the LA Chargers. I was like, and I wasn't even mad. I mean, come on, they got to make their money too. They already gave me enough money, so they like, can you get some of that back at these season tickets? Just renewed them too. I'm pumped. So we got San Francisco first game August 20th. Sick with it, right? So I sit in the end zone. And it was funny because people were like, yo, Wiley, like, why you like sitting here? Because it's cheaper to people. So people see the price and they think, oh, it's a worse seat. I'm like, y'all have never been in an NFL film session. Our film sessions, we get the wide and we get the tight. And one of the copies, we get to see right from behind, like the quarterback. I'm telling y'all, watch a football game from the end zones. The problem is the depth, obviously, especially when they're way on the other side about to score. They're on the 1 yard line, you 99 yards away from it, plus the end zone, which is another 20, and then the back part where they selling hot dogs and beers and people just chilling on the field lounge. So you easily 130, 50 yards away. That's the worst experience of it, is when you're that far away. But the best is every play you get to see, literally it's like this. And then the play starts and it goes like every single time. It's like blah, and it just every play you can see this guy going in motion, and you're like, yo, the architecture of a football play is second to none. It's like no other sport has it, because these guys are all being schooled, all being schematically trained to do this, and then you got to react off of what they're doing, because what you thought they were going to do, they didn't do it. Oh, it's like whew. So when he says that, when he's talking about his perspective and how he's looking at it, same way I look at it. So next time you clown somebody in the cheap seats, maybe they're getting a richer view of the game than you are. I know I am.
Look backwards a lot to me when I'm sitting right in the middle there, but I like to be more on the offensive side. That's the perspective I like, and I always like to talk to the quarterbacks and things like that, which you can do more, but it's been good to be able to communicate with Raheem back there and see it from a little different angle.
I could ask two questions. For starters, how long is the mustache going to be with you?
It's day to day. It's probably not going to stick eventually. Too many questions about it. I'll probably get rid of it pretty fast. It's something I always have in the summer. My friends have been trying to challenge me to keep it for like the last 4 years, and I always shave it the first day back. But once they all started joking that it saved my life in the crash, I felt like I owed it a little bit longer. So I'm just going to keep it a little bit longer.
Crash.
Next question is, I want you to feel comfortable, so I have an injury question to get you back in your routine. But as far as Bosa, taking off the last 3 days due to soreness, is there any reason for concern there?
No, I mean, I never, he was doing great and then he got sore just going through some of the individuals. So, I mean, you wish that didn't happen. But no, there's no concern to where something's happened that is a big setback or anything. But we'll wait until that soreness goes away and evaluating why the soreness has happened. And but but I still feel pretty good about that.
All right, we're going to get one.
The other day, Kyle, are you mad at yourself for getting in the situation?
Yeah, I mean, anytime you cause an accident that can be avoided, you feel pretty stupid. I mean, especially when you have a chance to hurt someone else. And so, like, I mean, I think you get mad when you get a ticket at yourself. So it was kind of the same. You know, things that, you know, I think everyone's done to a degree what I've done. But, you know, dropping a phone and falling all the way to my back seat where I have to fully take my eyes off the road, you know, it's something that I normally want to do. I've had autopilot for 9 years, so I'm pretty comfortable with it. And, you know, who knows what happened when I turned around, whether it malfunctioned or whether I knocked it off. That's something I don't know yet. But regardless, it is always your fault, whether you're an autopilot or not. You can't take your eyes off the road. It's a partnership driving. You don't just turn it over to a computer. And it's a good lesson, no matter how comfortable I am with that I believe someday could save my life or someone else's, or it's really helped me have perspective on that stuff.
Man, I like that answer. I like that answer, but it's even more to it than that. Okay, so obviously, let's just cut through it. He had a Tesla, sounds like it. And then the auto drive feature, basically, if you don't know or don't own a Tesla, you can put it in auto and it'll drive you as long as you're looking at the road, not distracted with your eyes, and if you're touching the wheel. You can let go of the wheel here and there, but it's going to remind you, touch this wheel or we're going to kick you out. You're going to have to drive yourself. Now, there's different levels of that sensitivity. Some people get away with not looking at the road all the time. You can look down at your steering wheel. You can put your phone on your steering wheel. Let's keep it 100 here. You can do all those things. Sometimes it catches you. Sometimes it doesn't. I know people that put sticky notes on there. Sometimes it doesn't allow them to go in self-driving. I mean, full drive. Sometimes it does. There's a lot of ways this thing goes. But what he said that really hit home with me, because I almost got into a big time accident, is this. Did he disable it or did it kick him out? Did he turn it off or did it turn itself off? Why does that matter? Let me tell you in story form first. I was driving and I was like, I was in the carpool lane. So, you know, if you're in the carpool lane, you're closest to the median, that big old wall that's between you and the other side opposing traffic. And sometimes that's a little bit of a gap and sometimes it's real tight. And one time it was real tight and I don't know what it was. And you notice that Shanahan, let me just say this. Shanahan has admitted that he was on that phone basically because he's like, drop my phone to the back. Why are you on your phone? Why are you holding your phone? Why are you playing with your phone? Why is your phone in your hand? Or he could have had the phone sitting in the middle console and it slid back. But this is why lawyers be like, careful, man. Careful. Don't be talking. Because it's like, drop my phone and it slides to the back. Anyway, so I'm driving. I'm regular driving mode. It's driving me. I'm by UCLA right there. And it's driving me. And for some reason, no, I was reaching. I don't know what I was reaching for. Woo! I reached for like in the second row, reached for something. I don't know what it was. Maybe some snacks, my big ass. And so I reached for it. And when I reached, my left leg touched the steering wheel. Everybody who has a self-driving, or at least a Tesla, knows you touch that steering wheel, you hear a doo-doo. And then it's just, the steering wheel was super tight. And then you touch it, it goes doo-doo. And it just, whatever the road is doing now, or you doing, because you're supposed to be driving. And I remember I did it and I was bumping, you know, my sounds was up. I'm blasting something, probably some Dog Pound, playing Dog Pound real loud. And I reach and it, boom, I didn't hear it disengage. I didn't feel my leg touch it. But while I'm here and I'm like, come back, all of a sudden the car's like, and about to hit this median, y'all. I mean, about to destroy this median. I'm like, ah! And then I was like, yo, same as Mike Shanahan. Kyle Shanahan. I'm sitting there like, I ain't getting into an accident, thank God. But I was like, I was like, what happened to self-driving? And then it took me, I'm not lying, it took me days, if not weeks, to finally figure out, because I probably did it again. Oh, I did that. I disengaged that. Because you can't touch it. If you touch it hard, it goes that way. So I feel his answer there. I feel his answer. He doesn't know. Maybe because he's concussed mentally, you know, still in the fog, all that kind of stuff. So I'm giving him a pass on that. but we still got more to hear.
This team, obviously, you're asking your players and your coaches to be responsible. Have you had to speak to that at all to them? Like, hey, I learned from what I did, or don't make this mistake, whatever it might be.
Yeah, I mean, I didn't like sit there and feel like I didn't have like a ton of guilt over it or anything. Like, I think the word's an accident, and it truly was that way. But you realize how quick and close that stuff can happen. And, when you're going at 20 miles an hour, you're not really in your autopilot. I honestly have zero worries. I have so much trust in that stuff. And that was a good lesson, that you can't ever have zero worries. But I think it definitely could be an example for a lot of people.
Interesting. He's sticking to that 20 miles an hour. So I hope he has that validated, like somewhere, whether it's Tesla and all of their, their recording devices and their records they keep a lot. They keep the video of people around your car that walk around it. They say that they keep like the driving patterns and records and stuff so they can help with their self-driving technology. So there's a way. I don't know how many resources are being poured into it with interest. It ain't just the money. Are we interested in finding out this result? Sometimes you can pay money and be like, hey, make sure we find out what we want to hear. Sometimes they put money out there to make sure that we find out what we want to hear. Sometimes they put money out there and say, make sure we don't hear anything. Sometimes it happens that way. Depends on who's there, right? So I wonder if he was really going 20 miles an hour and they're self-driving, and did he kick himself out, or did it kick him out? All those things are at play right now in his answers.
Returning to coaching in games and noise tolerance, will you still be on the sidelines, or is it going to
be? Like I answered all the questions earlier. That was, like the first couple of days out of practice, and depending on what side I was standing on, and AC/DC hurt a lot more than some smoother hip hop.
All right, let's get up out of here, because y'all scared to ask that man some real questions, except that one dude. All right, love. Let's sum this up. They passed that period, that point where we have that, and this happens in all stories. It has that peak interest where everybody's like, yo. And this story to me is just going to phase out, die out. We're going to see him on the sidelines in the preseason and just be like, you're going to see him in the regular season, you're going to be like, just going to move on. Like everything else, the world keeps spinning. That's why excuses don't help. We got Drew Brees going to talk about that, and him, the moment he realized he needed to stop making excuses, become a Hall of Famer. But that's why you don't make excuses. That's why I'm still doing this show, no matter how many headlines I am. And I appreciate all the support, and I appreciate all the love and concern, and people who believe me and don't believe her and all that. I appreciate it. And also those who do believe her and don't believe me. Thank you. You show me who you are. But I tell you one thing, the world don't give a damn. I'm not even being strong right now. I'm not. I'm going with the flow of the world. The world keeps spinning. This is not my worst. I've been worse. I understand Kyle Shanahan. He's like, yo, I wasn't sitting there with a ton of guilt because I almost died by an accident. And the scariest part is it was an accident. Using his words for him. That's how scary life is. I walk around with the perspective that life can end like that all the time. And I wish I didn't have that perspective. I'm not gonna lie, I wish I didn't. But it was forced on me when I was 10 years old. My best friend died. When my best friend died, I realized anybody can die at any single second of the day. All of us can go. And I've seen some people go. I've seen some gang fights turn into shootings. I've been in some events that had shootings, fatalities, stabbings. I've done been shot at before. Like, you know what I mean? Like, so when I deal with something, I don't forget that. And I'm not trying to borrow no production credits to get your sympathy. I'm just going to tell you, I'm going to keep going. When I can't keep going, it's over. 6 million ways to die. I choose one. I'm going to die once. The rest of this is going to build me up until I can't go no more. You got to keep going. And this story is going to die out. There's only one thing that's going to keep this story going, because Kyle Shanahan is moving. The world kept spinning. He got to keep winning. There's one thing that's going to keep this going. One thing. Y'all want to guess? Beat it up in the comments. Yep. Elon Musk. If Elon Musk, and you know he got time, if Elon hears Kyle Shanahan kind of, and he didn't say Tesla, so Elon might jump out of this. But if he thinking that is he damaging my brand? Talking about we kicked him out or he don't know, Don't let Elon be like, that vehicle right there. Yeah, I need it. What was it? July 9th? Yeah, July 9th. Yeah. Registered to Kyle Shanahan. Yeah. He over there like Iron Man right here. Kyle Shanahan, Tesla. All right. Track model, July 9th. Speed of light. Fast. It's like walking broke. Driving patterns. Enter. Go to YouTube. Play the video once again of him talking about the crash. Doesn't align with mine. That's all. Other than that, it's dead. It's dead. Story's dead. I'm just telling you though. Funk around and find out. Elon will find out real quick. Elon used to live next to Max Kellerman. Yep. Dog moved in, and then bought the houses next to him. I think 2 more, and said demo all that. He just knocked everything down. I was like, what? Max house all under construction. I was like, you doing something? He's like, no, that's Elon. I was like, what is going on? Said, I'm not coming over until y'all get it quiet over here. Real spit. That's the only thing. Beat up in the comments. All right. Let's see who the top fans are. Love you guys, man, for rocking and rolling what you got, your boy. Hit the like button, man. We do real spit over here. Kenton Powell's #1. Shaluva's D May is 2. What? Where you from? Shreveport? What kind of name is that? She loves D May. Oh, that's dope. See, I'm over here joking and clowning, and you got a dope name. Sin here is 3. You got beat Sin here. Come on, step up. Marcus Sims is 4, and Drew Mack, my dog, the G, is #5. Love. Hit the like button because that's all we need, the algorithm to help us out. All right. Oh, man, we're going to get into, let's do the Drew Brees. Nah, don't do that to y'all. Y'all like, what? We still got Stephen A, and we still got Royce White for sure. We did the face of ESPN. We could do Drew Brees too. We're going to end with Drew Brees because that story involves me. So I got to bring that home. All right, so Stephen A first. Let's get into it. Get involved. Dog, life is life, and life is good. You know, life is good. I heard something that really hit home with me. It was something like, you got to be careful, like when you don't want bad things to happen to you, because it's actually preparing you for the good. And, you know, it said it way more poetic than that. But the real of it is, if you can persevere, if you can too, but some people just think they can't. But if you persevere through it all, if you're going through hell, as I say, keep going, you'll prevail. You're going through hell, keep going, you'll prevail. It's real. It is so much better on the other side. Yeah, you just got to go through the hell. It's so much better on the other side, right? So stay strong is basically what I'm saying. The world don't care. The world keeps going whether you want to go or not. It's like football. When you turn on the brand, the NFL, and you turn on the NBA, you be like, I'm going to show them. I'm going to show them. No, you're not. No, you're not. No, they going to show you. They going to show you. Better sit your ass down and ball out. That's what you need to do. All right, let's get into this. This is Stephen A. and Mike Wilbon going at it. We're going to give it some time. Let's go.
I'm going to take a page out of Stephen A. now, if he was looking. Stephen A., I'm looking at you. I love you. You know that. Stop. You're not a journalist anymore.
Ooh.
You're not doing what you did at the Philly Inquirer. Stop, dude. I know what you did there because I was shoulder to shoulder with you at press row and in press boxes. And practice. Yes, practice. Yeah. Allen Iverson's practicing. Stop. No. Stephen A.'s a show. He's a show. He knows it. He wants to be the show, and he's doing a damn good job at it. That's what he wants to be. He has now spawned a whole generation of people who want to be the show. Good for Stephen. He knows that.
That was the great Mike.
Okay, before Stephen A. gives them the flowers and flattery, and then they bring each other on, they're going to talk to each other. Let's just say this. Sometimes compliments hurt. And that's a compliment. And Stephen A. understood it. But that's why also Stephen A. took it as a little bit of a jab, because he's like, why does one have to cancel the other? Why is now that I'm the show, I can't be the journalist anymore? Why can't be both, right? So sometimes compliments do hurt, right? And you're like, oh, what do you mean? You know what you are. He's like, yeah, but I think of myself way more than that. So now they're going to go with that premise respectfully. I guarantee you this ain't going to be, they may not pop a bubble because they love each other. But we're going to see how they get into this because I know Stephen A. felt the way about it.
Wilbon, columnist extraordinaire for decades in the nation's capital, writing for the Washington Post, co-star of the #1 show on ESPN for the last quarter century. Pardon the interruption. He is with yours truly right now. My brother, what's going on, my man? How you doing?
Hey, I'm good. I'm good. Thanks for having me. It's good for us to do this publicly since we do this privately. People don't understand that we do this on text. We do this in green rooms. Yep. We do this for commercial breaks, but they think we get angry at each other if they don't know. So it's good to let them in on our discussion about things they feel differently about.
We're letting them in on our discussion because, as I said, when this story came out, I said, I don't know what the hell these people are doing with these headlines if they expected me to be mad at my big bro. We go back and forth about everything all the damn time. So yes. What? You know what I'm saying? You know I love you. But let me ask you this question, Mike.
Okay. Like we predicted. Nothing wrong with that. It ain't got to be always, I hate you. Forget you, ninja. We don't want that. I know you notice that Stephen A., and he rarely does this, but a lot of people have come to me before. It's like, Stephen A. got the #1 show, ESPN. I said, you got to listen to him. He says the #1 daytime, morning show. He says morning show, okay? The #1 show on ESPN, and it's been that way, as he said, for a quarter century, it's been PTI. But you don't hear that. It's almost like the Emmanuel Acho flex, when Emmanuel was trying to flex the subscribers. But the real is when you get the challenge for Stephen A. right now is he's right next to Wilbon. He's right on the screen with Wilbon. So now you're not going to hear #1 morning show. You're going to hear, oh, that's the #1 show on ESPN. Just little subtleties to show respect. That's all it is.
Wilbon. So, all right, if I am a show,
right,
what are you? Because PTI #1 for a quarter century. You're a star on television. You're a star covering the NBA. You're all over the place. What are you?
A mini show. Listen, I'm gonna do this now.
Right.
Because we just like we can disagree, we can also, people have to understand how we actually feel. Dude, you have built an empire. I'm proud of you. You know that. Matthew just left. My son just left. He don't watch me. He doesn't come home and say, what did Dad say? He comes home and says, Dad, you and Stephen A. said today. Mm-hmm. Not only is it not competitive, and you know, probably two of your biggest fans when it comes to how we got where we are Tony Kornheiser and me. You know that.
Absolutely.
But here's what I gave it up in terms of the journalism part. Stephen A., you know, we can call on those skills. We can wear that hat. You prepared for this. I know how you prepared for it because we prepared the same way. And then we got this path. And neither one of us sought to be a show. I can say that with great certainty. We sought to be what we were 20, 30 years ago, journalists. We were. And now I would tell you a quick story. So one day when PTI was relatively new, 3-4 years old, I was somewhere talking about the Cubs. I was wearing like a Cub jersey. You know, I was being something different outside my role. And Big John, the great John Thompson, God love him. Big John called me and he said, I won't do the invitation because that'll be crazy. Yes. But Big John said to me, somebody described me as a journalist, and he said, you know you're not that anymore. Son, you know you're not that anymore. And Stephen, I was hurt at first.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And then he went on, because it's Big John.
That's right.
And it was going to be time for a he said, look, you're going to people's living rooms in a different form. You have to, it's different. They see you differently. What you're doing is different. And John Thompson, somebody who wrote ed pieces for the Washington Post and New York Times and other places, just so folks don't think that all John did was coach. When he said this to me, it's 20 years now, I was taken aback at first. And then I realized, and he said, I saw you the other night at the arena for a Bullets game or whatever. And he said, when people go to these things now, you're part of the show. So I'm stealing, by the way, from the great John Thompson, who I know you adored and respected your whole life.
That's right. I'm
stealing from him. Because when he said it to me, I wasn't ready for it. And then I realized as we went every day, yes, this is not, I was that. I'm proud of that. I don't have this without that. But I'm not that anymore. And it's okay. It's cool.
Okay, before he defines, I'm thinking what that is. I can tell you why they both took it the wrong way or took it the right way and they didn't feel good about it. Because when they tell you you're a part of the show, immediately you think more sizzle than substance. Immediately when someone says you're a part of the show, you're thinking like carnival. You're thinking like, oh, I'm here as somebody who's not being deeply respected. Like you just over here looking at me like, oh, go dance, go sing, go talk, go be some court gesture of something of that nature, right? Historically, that's what you think. You just think that for many of connotations and reasons, you think that. But that's because you were in the infancy of what the show was being defined as in sports media. Sports media didn't have a show before. Yeah, they had names, right? But never were they a part of like the event in full respect. You retroactively look, you know, you can see Howard Cosell was the first that went with Muhammad Ali, and you're like, yo, that banter is different, right? But you're still there for the fight. But you were like, yo, that banter is different. Then you can go into the 80s. I mean, a lot of legendary people. Y'all got to understand what we're saying is something different. We're not saying you cover it and you cover it so well, because only Cosell is the first one I can see. And then it skipped. It stopped for a while. That you're actually a part of like this main attraction. We're thinking with you or thinking through you. But sports media wasn't that. And then it comes to the 90s, you start getting all those Sports Center anchors, and they started to kind of like drive your interest into your sport. But you still weren't thinking of them in the show, in the sport. But think about how different it was then compared to now. Don't lie and say you think of LeBron, and then sometimes you ain't thinking how Stephen A. don't like him. Or he loves Jordan, or if LeBron gets contentious, or Stephen A. gets hard and gangster puts on the Wesley Snipes little outfit he puts on, you got something to say about the athlete. You don't think about Jaylen Brown now and think about Stephen A. Smith somewhat. Kyrie Irving, Stephen A. Smith somewhat. Colin Kaepernick even. Terrell Owens, Stephen A. Smith, Max Kellerman. Like, it's just, that's the show. What John Thompson was saying is, oh, you're a part of this. Like, they're going to think about you too now. You've introduced yourself to the world at large, and they're going to take notice. That's the biggest difference I see. And then they don't feel flattered by that because they thinking, one, who has done that historically that's been favored, that's been loved? Cosell, maybe? And even then, we don't give them the credit for that. So now you're in uncharted territory. And what comes with uncharted territory? Usually a lot of fear, a lot of anxiety.
Define the show. Define show and what that means to you and what it meant to him. Because John Chaney, by the way, John Chaney from Temple University, God rest his soul, you know, I covered him for many years. He said the same thing. He said the same thing to me before he passed. Go ahead.
Stephen, and that is like the defining question. So I think there's a line that we both crossed a long time ago. And by the way, would I go back and uncross it? Hell no. Absolutely and I learned that from Big John too. So no, I'm not going to go back and uncross it. It's okay. And it does call on its due. I heard you the other day on the podcast when you were talking about the things you have to do and the skills you call upon to do. Yes, we do. And we call upon them. We train. We didn't forget them. We ride the bike again, but we cross them. When you are on and I'm sitting with you sometimes watching you, and you talking about orange and blue skies, I love all that.
Right.
But that is what takes us out of being a journalist. When I'm wearing a Cub jersey, I had one time the producers, I'm sitting in Wrigley Field with an Ernie Banks jersey on. Ernie Banks sponsored the Little League I played for in Chicago, co-sponsored.
Wow. Yeah.
They asked me to come down and do a stand-up. I was Anthony Rizzo, the lineage of Ernie Banks, first baseman in Chicago. I look like, to me, a clown. And during the commercial break, as we prepare for me, because I was the only one there, somebody couldn't get to Wrigley Field. I'm wearing an Ernie Banks jersey, holding a microphone, about to talk to Anthony Rizzo. Mm-hmm. This is 10 years ago. And I said to Rizzo, I know this is probably embarrassing. I'm sorry, this is unprofessional. And Rizzo put his hand on my shoulder and he said, you know, he would understand, he would forgive you, meaning Ernie Banks.
Right.
And the moment put me at ease because I was tremendously nervous. So I was outside my role, outside my lane. Mm-hmm. But Stephen, I realized again, I was reminded in that moment, That's not what I am anymore. Tony says that we are show monkeys. That's his word. So I can't steal that from him.
Right.
He says, "Oh, we're all that," and he's right. And I love what I do. I wouldn't trade it. I wouldn't trade those first 30 years you described earlier, being a reporter, being a cop. And once we make ourselves part of it, to me, that's the line we cross.
Well, let me tell you this. We're talking to the great Mike, who appeared on the Awful Announcing podcast last week with Brandon Contis as well.
Okay, I didn't really get the answer I either expected or that answered that question, but him defining what being a part of the show is, it sounds like to him it just means you have multi roles, like you doing more than just what you were intended to do or when you first got there you were doing. I think the real answer is we all know it, and it's what they say, like pornography. How do you know it's porno? You know it when you see it. To me, they all became a part of the show when they challenged the show, the athletes, the actual performances, and then made it personal. So when they finally, whether it wasn't really Jim Rome, but Jim Rome started this kind of debate banter, but he debated the camera. He debated the audience at home. Rome is burning and he's talking to you. Skip Bayless did it and he started debating the person across from him. And then he was like, I'm going to tell you what I love and tell you what I hate. And that was like the start of the era of, we gonna personalize this. I don't like him. And then I'm going to take it so personally that I'm not going to move off my stance. I love Tebow. I don't like T.O. Whatever that may be, right? I don't like Westbrook, but I love LeBron, or I don't like LeBron, actually. You know, like he didn't like LeBron. Then Stephen A. used to like LeBron, and then because they had to play it off for the show, then now he's gone. You don't like LeBron. That's the show. So no one wants to call themselves a sellout, me either. But of course, you make choices that are under the qualifications of, oh, you sold out. And sold out means all you did was put a different principle in order. You used to be principal LE and now it's AL. Because guess what comes from that? Why do you do that? You don't just wake up and want to just personalize talking about athletes like that. You, first of all, you know you're not good as an athlete. So how are you going to talk about something you're not that good at? That's just humans aren't wired that way. So when you do that, it's a force. Why are you forcing yourself to do that? Obviously, the same answer all the time. Incentives shape behavior. You are going to get paid because look at the ratings, because look at the traction, because look at the star appeal that comes from you actually personalizing these stories. Everyone saw the same fork in the road. I was at ESPN when it started. I was on Cold Pizza. Where we all knew you could have been Dana Jacobson, right? Right? You could have stayed in there. You could have stayed there with Jay. You could stay on that. And then there's this other side. And this show is starting to morph and turn into its own thing. We're going to be First Take. You can argue and yell and kill an athlete. That's who started to get to the front of the line. They don't want to admit that. And I don't think Wilbon kills athletes, but I do know he can go there. And he can say, I don't like this guy. I don't like this thing. Like he does it in a different way, but he goes there still just wearing different shoes.
That's what we're talking about here with his comments that I started off the show. A couple of things. Number one, don't put it just on me. You know, just like your son listens and watches me, my daughter Samantha don't listen to me. You know, she listens to you. She watches PTI. She don't watch First Take. She always raving about Mike Wilbon. How's Uncle Mike doing? Let's not forget that. Okay, so let's make sure we get that. By the way, she sends her love. By the way, the other thing is this. Here's where I'm coming from, and this is really what the point of this discussion is. Jaylen Brown and I went back and forth,
right?
You know, and obviously that was very disconcerting to you as you reached out to me and told me. And I said, Mike, check this out. I've done nothing but praise the man because what is there to insult? The man's a winner. He's a champion. He's won in the conference finals, the MVP of the NBA finals. I said, all I said was you can't go on your podcast on Twitch the day after losing a 3-1 lead and going home in the first round and say that. was your favorite season 2 years removed from winning a championship, particularly when you play for the Boston Celtics. I mean, my God, it's not a crime. And so all of a sudden, this dude is calling me unethical. He's cussing at me. He's going overseas in Spain and France and saying that business is unethical and Stephen A's the ringleader. And what he leaned on, Wilbon, was what happened a couple of years ago when I pointed out how he wasn't liked by folks on Madison Avenue and others because they talked about him being cerebral, hard-headed, activist mentality. They didn't want that. But he left out how I said they were wrong. That this man is a model citizen. He doesn't deserve that. He deserves to be treated better. He's a champion. And so when I'm sitting there and I'm pointing to Forbes magazine, or we do our homework and we cultivate resources and we pick up the phone, Mike, and we're saying, look, this is the intel that we're getting. We ain't just in the front of a microphone or a camera running our mouth. We actually talk to people. We cultivate sources spanning 30 plus years. To me, no, we're not
doing it every day too.
We're not journalists anymore per se. You're right. But we're reminding folks that's where we come from. That's our foundational premise. And that's all I meant when I was saying I'm a journalist. I was talking about this is the resume. This is what I've done.
Yes.
So that you say
listen,
what?
You know that's 100%. I'm with you on all points. I know if I was in your office right now at home, I'd look around that room and see all sorts of things that decorated you as a journalist. Listen, I'm getting old and forgetful. I ain't that forgetful. I'm not.
Okay. I just got to stop it for fair use. But also remember this point, because Stephen A., and this is why they say there are really three sides to every story. I always say, yeah, there may be three sides to every story, but I'm gonna tell you two for sure. Wait till we sum this up. We'll stop after Wilbon's response.
That forgetful on places that you and I were. I got 10 years on you, but when you were 25 and I was 35, I remember the places that we were and what we were doing. And they completely created not just that resume, but the basis from which we work. And yes, you, by the way, you put on that hat, I think, more than I do. Because you're
okay. He's not going to answer the question again, so I'm going to leave. Oh my God. One, Stephen A. didn't really ask him a question. He did at the end. He was like, to that you say what? The record of events, I think Stephen A. Smith accurately depicted them. Like, yo, I used to defend you, Jaylen Brown. And Jaylen Brown, when I was defending you, also I had to point out why the story is, why isn't he on the Olympic team? And well, the Olympic team, this is where I think Stephen A. may get it a little wrong. He started talking about why Madison Avenue didn't like him and marketing and how he's not as loved and beloved as he should be. And that's part of like the selection process. When Grant Hill is sitting there saying, look, we got a certain team and we need certain things, and that doesn't always mean the best players. So already you are inserting yourself. Grant Hill's on the selection committee. He's the guy who runs it. He's the guy who says, I pick him. And you sitting there saying, well, it's because he's not liked. And that's kind of like, I don't know why. I'm not even thinking this through. It's kind of like when Kobe, rest in peace, and Shaq, when Kobe got in trouble, remember? And then he started talking about Shaq, and then we found out he kind of snitched on Shaq or told on Shaq. And you're just like, what that got to do with anything? You know what I mean? Like, you're almost sitting there when you hear all this salacious stuff and dirt, you sit there and say, so what? What that got to do with anything? Right? You'll listen because you think it's taking you somewhere. And then when you're done, you're like, what that got to do with it? What does Madison Avenue got to do with him being on the Olympic team or not? You know why? Because what does it have to do with who was on that team? I forget his name. Little bald head, Boston Celtic, the third best player, whatever, with the headband. Got a little Eminem head. Anyway, he on that team. Is he marketable? Huh? So what marketing got to do with it? Oh, he's liked. Something white. What's his name? Something white. That's his last name, White. What does marketing got to do with it? But it was a way to character smear Jaylen Brown. If you're smart, you get that. because that's what they do in court a lot of times. They know what they're there for, but then they'll throw something on the wall. They'll make a left turn and hope that you object or you don't object. They don't care. They just want it out there. And they were like, irrelevant, Your Honor, sustained. What the hell does that got to do with anything? But now you're going to erase it. You're going to erase it. You're going to unerase it. You're going to erase it. You're going to unerase it. Stop it. So that's part one. Part two is when you fast forward to Jaylen Brown saying, this is my favorite season, you're going to tell him he can't say what is true to him. You can't say what is true to many people. Like, dog, the company had his, ESPN has record revenue this year. So you say, I love my year at ESPN this year. Then 2 years from now, y'all have bad ratings or bad revenue, bad ratings, not your best ratings, but still good, but not your best. But everyone is saying, yo, Stephen A for Emmys. Stephen A need to win the Emmys this year, dog. Did you hear him? I know the ratings were down a little bit. I know the revenue is crazy and it was a little lower than expected. But did you hear what he said? You can't say this is your favorite year? You couldn't say that was my best year broadcast, favorite year broadcast? Because the company didn't do as well? And that's when Jaylen Brown, who is, let's just say thoughtful, if not very intelligent, if not damn near genius, whatever it is, he's smart. He's smart. He's like, man, I see what you're doing, dog. I see what's going on here. We bring in all these irrelevant elements into conversations that don't make sense. Simple as that. Derek White, that's his name, Derek White. We got Derek White on the team. We ain't talking about marketing with him. Oh, he's likable. You don't say Jaylen Brown's likable? Oh, no, I've heard that people don't like him. You can hear that about everybody. There's people that don't like LeBron. There's people that don't like Derek White. You know what I mean? There's people that don't like anybody because some people, you don't believe me? The Derek White types, everybody say, oh, no, everyone likes Derek White. No, you don't. You know why? Because he tries so hard. He plays so hard. All those guys who are not super talented, they in practice, and then they kissing coach's butt. They always up there in the owner's executive. You can make up a story about anybody if it's not real. Come on, y'all. Come on, y'all. So that's all that was. We may go back to the interview if they start answering real questions. We'll see. All right, let's get to this Royce White. This is sick. Beat up in the comments. Let me know what you guys think. WNBA, you got something to deal with. And I want y'all to also make sure you guys like this video right now. Kenton Powell's number 1. Chill Wilbon is 2. What? Nikita Ross is 3. Dope. She loves D May 4. Send here is 5. Love y'all. Love y'all for rock and rolling with your boy. Last 2 topics. We're going to end on the Drew Brees real quick one. That's going to be a quick one. But right here, I don't know what the hell, but Royce White is going to find out if the WNBA is serious or not. He going to find out if they real or pandering. That's what he's on a mission to do. And frankly, I'm here to see it because I mean, this got to represent all panderers out there. Like, I just want to see what you do. I'm not predicting what you're going to do. I just don't know if you're going to do it right or not. Royce White is look at this, y'all. This crazy. His name is now Roycia, he says. Roycia Mania. He's going in. Let's go.
The ship is going down. The fat lady's getting ready. The band's playing. You know, the band's playing, and there aren't enough lifeboats for everybody. So I thought to myself, you know, if America's headed, you know, down the drain, why not experience what it's like to be a woman? I mean, why would I go my entire life in a man's body to be a woman trapped in a man's body? The torture, the anguish of it. I can't even describe it to you. You know, it's been a revelation. It's like, you can do this, dude. You can do this. You can become the best WNBA basketball player the world has ever seen.
Hey, I know it's a mockery, and I know it can come off as distasteful. I understand that. It can. It can come off as like, yo, are we serious right now? But for a grander point, a greater point in which he's reaching for, let's see if he can grasp it. So the grander point is because of the European transgender player that's balling and balling, looking good, but strong, like different type of balling, like getting 20 and 20, but not like Angel Reese 20 and 20, like, right? And then that opened up the conversation for all the WNBA players, including Gabby Williams and others, to say, oh, I'm open to protecting transgender rights, and transgenders could play in the WNBA. This is where this went. But at that time, when they're saying this, there's no consequences. There's nothing but upside to saying that, okay? You can say anything because it's not going to be consequential. It's not really going to happen. Or is it now? So that got Enos Cantor, that got Royce White saying, they are just really pandering. They are really saying that because they know that this won't happen. So they're just going to say anything. And the problem with saying anything is some of the stuff is believable and we going all crazy places. So now they say, here's some consequences. Now are so open-minded, so inclusive. Let's see.
You can go to the WNBA and elevate the entire game. You can draw more eyes. You think Caitlin Clark's drawing eyeballs to the women's game. Oh, yeah. Wait till me and Enos Cantor get there. Wait until the LeBron Jameses of the world show up. Yeah. Wait until your young high school athletes decide, you know what? Why would I want to go hang around with a bunch of other sweaty men in a hyper-competitive setting? Just go on over here to the WNBA and experience being a woman, because we all should get the opportunity to experience being the other sex, because it's just a construct anyway. Just a construct. There's nothing to it. There's no difference. But there's no real difference. Come on. Come on. There's no real difference between men and women. And we all know that. If you dig deep, if you search your heart, you know. I mean, let me look at you straight on here. If you search your heart, go home tonight, take some time, you look in the mirror, and you search. You search. Do some deep diving. We all know there's no real difference between them. We know
that. God, Lord. I mean, look, it's weird. I understand. As a man, it's like we don't want attention like this. Like, you know, as a man, I'm sitting there like, come on, dog. This is how we doing it. But look, there's been a lot of guys I've seen get a lot of attention doing sillier stuff than this, but this is going to rank pretty close. You know, like people are just chasing bags and they chasing fame and fortune, attention. This one at least is laced with a sincerity of, we want to see if you guys are true with your legislation, with your ideology. Are you really saying what you really would do, which is be open-minded and inclusive? And all you need to say is you identify as, and then you're in. Or all of a sudden you're going to come some new bylaw, some new construct that says, oh, but, and that lets me know you're discriminating against me, which means all that you said before, we knew you weren't really about that life. You just were saying it because it sounded good, right? Oh, I can't stand a panderer. So the time will tell, because the test is here.
We all know. It's a farce. It's a farce that's been perpetuated by all of these neo-colonial racists, these neo-colonial racist white men. It's a farce. All you need is a synthetic wig. And yeah, this is a wig, but it's my hair because I pay for it. It's a wig, but it's mine because I pay for it. Okay? And if you don't give me my props, if you don't tell me that I'm slaying tonight, if you don't say yes, queen, then you're transphobic.
Okay, we're going to stop right there. Perfect, because we got one more topic to get out of here on time. Blah, blah, blah. We'll part two that if we need to. And that's the issue. That's why I am actually encouraging him and Enos to go ahead. And I didn't want them to, I didn't think of to start this. I didn't even think, you know, like this is their idea, totally. But I'm behind it for this one reason. I have been called transphobic before for saying I want my daughters to compete against girls. Why? Because I'm a man and I know I've competed against men. I played with men who got cut from the NFL, like no more NFL for you, done. And they were athletes. I mean, athletes and cut. You can't play. And I don't even have to imagine what they would do if they were to play. I've seen them play basketball. I wouldn't have to imagine what they would do in the WNBA. I wouldn't have to imagine. And you think that's fair? And I know we too old to be saying fair, but you think that's right? You think that's real? I got 2 little girls right now who every day they got on their chore sheet on top of doing their homework, making their bed, which they never sleep in, washing their face, putting on lotion, which they never do. All their chores, they have a chore list, this digital board we use, and you got to check it. One of them is your basketball. Did you dribble today? Did you go make your shots? They got to make 5 shots at these 5 different spots. Did you do it? Because in life, if you want to make something happen, you can make anything happen. All you got to do is do a little, a lot. Do a little, a lot. Most people do the wrong way. They do a lot, a little. Oh, I'm going to the gym today. This week, I'm going in. Next week, gone. They doing a lot, a little. You got to do a little, a lot every day. Just go in there. Just go in there. Just go in there. Just dribble, girl. Just go dribble, girl. 6 and 7. 6, 7. But then they're gonna get older. I don't want nobody just dunking on them in the 8th grade. I don't. I want them to have the path that is designed for them. Like there's weight classes, like there's age groups in youth sports. I want it to continue all the way through. Weight classes in the pros for a reason. If men got weight classes, you think they're not gonna have gender designations? What? So I'm rooting for them to call the bluff. I just want to see what it is. Simple as that. It ain't that deep. I'm not political with it. I have learned that you guys people don't have the same skin I have. And I'm sure they are out there, but we haven't connected well enough. I don't care what your politics are, but don't call me something because you just think I don't agree with you. I'm not a phobic because I don't agree with you because my daughter should be playing with girls. And if you think I am, I'm not going to talk to you anymore. I told you, I'm not a hater. There's not a person in this world I hate, including the one putting me in these headlines right now. I don't hate her. That's the mother of my 3 biggest blessings. Then the mother of my other one, my 4th biggest blessings. I don't hate either one. I don't hate nobody, but I am apathetic to many. Oh, it's a lot of people, boy. Good luck getting my attention. Nope, I'm good. Compton, I'm good. Either I'm gonna love you or I'm gonna be apathetic. I've never been a hater. I can't. It's not even like I'm proud. I'm just like, I can't. Because that means I feel, once you hate somebody, you feel it. You got to carry that poison. I ain't carrying your poison. You the one that got a problem. That's on you, bro. All right, so let's get into this last one. I just heard somebody stomp. Somebody must just got home. It's late. Last one. We got to get into this one. Drew Brees. This is dope. Hall of Fame happened this weekend. Y'all watch it? Y'all see some of them speeches? Well, Drew Brees, obviously, my teammate, San Diego Chargers, I was there when Drew Brees got drafted. LT, Drew Brees, same draft. I remember this, Marty Schottenheimer, right here. And Drew Brees, they talk about this. It's a dope story. Let's go.
Marty was my biggest fan. He would tell me that all the time. Even as he benched me 3 times and made me fight for my job every year with 2 greats, Doug Flutie and Phillip Rivers. The first 2 times I got benched, I deserved it. The 3rd time, I still don't think I deserved it, Coach.
Respect. One of those, all right, famously, if you are into the Chargers or into me or Drew, one of those I got caught up in the middle of it, and I'm just going to tell it to you right now. No, I'm going to wait to the end of this story. Let's go.
But nonetheless, it lit more than a fire. It forced me to access a place in my mind and my heart that I had not yet been. The adversity was not expected, but very necessary. I would never have reached the heights I did without it. I knew I needed to play better, but more importantly, I knew that he believed I would play better. Thank you to Coach Cam Cameron and Brian Schottenheimer, offensive coordinator and quarterback coach for the Chargers. I'll never forget a film session in 2003. I was coming off a tough game, and as we watched the tape together, they asked me the question, hey, why didn't you throw to this receiver? He was wide open. To which my response was, I couldn't see him. The tape paused. There was a moment of silence. They glared at me and said, it's your job to see. You reach a point in your career when you stop making excuses. It's usually a moment or an event where you flip a switch or make a very conscious decision, and it becomes part of your being. They were right, and never again would those words or thoughts come out of my mouth. I would need to find a way to play the game a little bit different, even if it was in a way that had not been done before. Shape me for what came next.
Blah, blah, blah. All right. Basically, that story, man. I mean, no excuses. That's the whole point we were talking about before. The world keeps spinning. It's amazing. No matter what's going to happen to you today, if you don't die, the world is just going to keep on moving. Imagine that the world's your best friend and you are walking with the world. Y'all both are rotating. Just, hey, let's keep moving. Let's keep it moving. And then something bad happens to you. Pow, you're like, oh, man, ouch, boo, me, hey, help. Guess what the world is? It ain't next to you no more. The world ain't next to you no more. World kept going. World was like, peace. Hold on, my light came out. World was like, peace. World like, I holla. World like, I holla at you, dog. World said, dope. Deuces. World keeps spinning. It's rolling right in front of you. You better catch up. So I know emotionally that's tough for some people. They want to be emotional. I'm not too emotional. I know I have emotions, but I got to keep them directed towards my logic, which is keeping me directed towards my actions. So let me tell you this. I was there when Drew Brees was getting benched all them times. One time, the whole locker room, it felt like, and I know that's not true, it's hyperbolic, but the whole locker room was saying, on the team, Junior Seau was the man. Rodney Harrison was the man. But they both were like field generals, like disciplinarians. Like Junior made sure everybody worked out. Everyone had a good attitude. Rodney was like, make sure everybody had the football mentality, was locked in. I was more of like, whatever it is, come to Marcellus, whatever it is. It could be fun. It could be not fun. It could be good. It could be bad. Like Marcellus, just talk to Marcellus. Because I had that kind of pull when I was in San Diego. So cats were coming to me. They wouldn't go to Junior and Rodney necessarily, or they wouldn't act on it necessarily. I want this guy to play, this guy not to play. But they kept coming to me. They was like, yo, Wiley, you and Flutie cool, right? And y'all played in Buffalo together, and you know how good he is. And Drew's struggling right now. Look at all these names we got on our team. Look how good we are. I mean, there at one point, we had Gates, Drew Brees, LaDainian Tomlinson, Tim DeWhite, Curtis Conway, Jeff Graham, for those who know ball, he could play. That's just offense. We had Jamal Williams, John Perella, Junior Seau, Rayleigh Johnson, Rodney Harrison, others too, I'm saying. But squad, we had squad, dog, and we wasn't winning. And so cats would come to me like, Wiley, get rid of Drew, man. Tell them to chill on Drew. Tell them to chill on Drew. And at that time, I had a relationship with Jim Trotter. So Jim Trotter and I would talk all the time off record about life and stuff and ball and the locker room. I would just give him color. Like he would have a story and he'll say something. He'd be like, yeah, I'm thinking it's this. What have you heard or seen? I tell him. But this time I got real intentional. They were asking about who should be the quarterback going forward. And I don't know if I regret this or not, because it's part of why I am such a truth teller, because I told the truth. And I knew that wasn't what you're supposed to do. But I also thought it was for a greater good. This is how I lied to myself or told myself the truth. I said, it's because I want everyone on this team to be happy. This team would run faster, jump higher, make more plays if Drew wasn't the quarterback, if Doug Flutie was the quarterback at that time. That's all I said. I was like 777. Basically, I wanted Doug Flutie to be the quarterback. 777, his number. They said, who you want to be the quarterback? I said, 777. That's all I said. But what I meant was, I think these guys will perform better. I really didn't mean it in a selfish way. Of course, Drew took it that way, as he should have. And he was with me, just coming off of going to his wedding, and that was my dog. We've made up since then. I assume we played pickleball together, so that was fun. But growing pains, if not life lessons. I tried to do it for the team and took one for the team, because it certainly damaged our relationship. But look, as Drew is now thanking me, I heard, because he said, without those moments, I wouldn't have reached for the heights and achieved the heights I attained. You're welcome, Drew. Yeah, right. I wish. Hey, love for you, big dog. Love for all you guys out there. Hit the like button on the way out. We're going to go get it. Have an amazing day. I know I will. Let's get it in tomorrow. You know how we do.